All right, so here we are. We're ready to make our first bends to secure this first link onto the earring mechanism. All right, so I'm taking my awl, and I use this as my starter before making any bend. I'm using it to apply pressure to start the crease so that we stay right on target of where our fold is going to be. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna push onto here and then complete the fold, the 90-degree bend. We're gonna turn this around and do it on the other side. And there you have your first bends going on. This is what if you look at the finished piece, this was like straight, you know, we're looking above. That's where we are. So now, the next step is to fill these sides. So in comes the chili flake. And we're just going to follow these lines to show us right where we want the chili flake to go, to fill up to. And that's where we make our next bend. Oh, it looks nice. Okay, so I'll move this out of the way. We're gonna make our next bends. This is what we're working with. We have almost our first link complete. We just need to connect these two sides, these two pieces. One's gonna get inserted into the other. And if you remember, we need this little corner split here. So we're gonna let that be the piece that gets pushed into the other piece, because it already has a nice slit to prepare to make this transition easier on us. The way we're going to prepare this side is by trying to open up the gap a little bit, widen it, so we have a smoother transition. And I'm taking the edge of, or the top of my scissors. I don't want to cut or anything, so this is blunt. And I'm just going to give it a little whirl. I don't fill these up all the way, but I do want some color in here. So I'm gonna give them each side a little scoop of the pepper. Okay, so here we've prepared this side by opening it up a little bit. This side has a little snip, so we can feed these in. First, we're gonna kind of pull them apart, and we want these to be angled directly at each other, 180 degrees. We want them to be ready. I'm gonna flip this around so I can see better. And then when we're doing these links later on, we're going to snip it purposefully so that this slit is on the top, and so we don't have to flip it around and look from the inside. I'm gonna make sure that that lip that's starting to go in, the part that's not clipped, is resting in, and so like half of the process is already done for you. So we gotta keep those nice and snug and pushed together. As you can see, there is this point where the cut has, there's like a V here. This point right here is gonna wanna snag and not push through. So you want to pinch that down so that it doesn't catch on the edge there, and then you can continue to push your whole straw through. And so now, like, you're really pushing until it feels like it's bottomed out and you can't push anymore. And that tension should hold your piece in place, which there we go. Like so. We have a little bit more to go. Let's keep it going, and then we can move on to making the links and just adding link by link until you reach your desired length. So the last thing to finish up this ear mechanism part is we're gonna pinch these sides, pinch these down, flatten them out a little bit. The longer side is gonna be the part that gets folded up 90 degrees. That is the theme. And this is where the hole is gonna get punctured so that you can pass a post through. So let's do that first while we have it flat before we do the bend. And that's that. That's gonna be ready for your earring post now. So like I said, we're gonna wanna bend this up 90 degrees so that it sits against your earlobe. All right, and so then the last thing that we want to do is seal these so that they're not open, and that's where our lighter comes into play. You can pinch just with your fingers, which I've done. I'll demonstrate that both ways, and then the other way is to use your flat nose pliers so that you can keep your fingers out of the way if you have them available. Definitely makes it a little bit easier. Okay, so we're not trying to melt the straw crazy. We just want it to get a little bit of heat so that just the edges melt, and then you like crimp them together and it seals. So I'll demonstrate that right now. The light and just a nice little graze of the flame. Oop. And it melts the edge just a little bit. And so when you push them together, they're now sealed shut. And you can trim if you get like a little bit of this like flange here. You can carefully trim it without actually cutting it open. Okay. So then we got that side done. And now we just want to do the back side, which has extra material. So I'm gonna snip it down